Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name's Mohammed Francis. So, you want to do the Saudi STEP English exam. My questions for you are, have you improved? Have you got better in English language? And also, do you know the questions, the types of questions, and the skills and techniques required to do the Saudi STEP English exam? Now, students often come to me and say, Teacher, next week or the week after, I have an exam, the Saudi STEP exam. I booked it. I'm going to do this exam. Please give me some exam advice. My answer to them is always, why have you come now? Why did you not come weeks or months before to ask me for advice about this exam? My advice to you, of course, is to improve your English as much as possible and also to learn the kinds of skills and techniques you need to learn in order to do the exam well. So if you are here for last minute advice on how to do the exam, all well and good, no problem, you will benefit. But remember, you need time and you need practice. And for that, you should do this months before you sit the exam. Many students dislike reading and just don't do it. They love social media, WhatsApp, Snapchat, YouTube, Twitter. But most of the reading is in Arabic and very little of it in English. Reading is a super important skill at university. You must be able to read. Not only that, the kinds of texts, the texts and books they use at university are super difficult and complex and usually written by native speakers. STEP Reading Comprehension RC, the key STEP exam skills. In the exam, you will have texts, short or long, with 40 multiple choice questions. In a previous video, I explained that the texts may be professional, technological, business related, about science, usually academic in nature. I will not describe in detail the types of text, rather the format of the exam for this video. So in the STEP exam, readings are paragraphs in paragraph form. Let's see an example. Paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The texts are only given as paragraphs. There are no titles. The paragraphs are numbered. You have a number next to each paragraph. Paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's a space of 2 lines between each paragraph. The paragraphs also have some bolded words which are blackened, and these are exam questions. And you should answer each question in 1.30 minutes, so 1.5 minutes per question. Let's go to our text and see how they look, how these paragraphs look. Number 1. There are no titles, no headings. The title of this reading is The Magic of Mimicry. In the exam, it will not be there, it will be absent. Second, the paragraphs have numbers, not the lines. For example, number 1, paragraph 1, the number 1. For paragraph 2, number 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, etc. 3. Between the lines, between the paragraphs, there are 2 lines. For example, 1, 2. For the next paragraph, 1, 2. So 2 lines, 2 full lines between each of the paragraphs. 4, we can see some bolded words, blackened words, influence, strips, and rough. These words will be tested in the questions as synonyms. They will test your understanding of these words using synonyms. And number 5, you should complete each question, answer each question in 1.5 minutes, so 1.5 minutes per question. In summary, readings are paragraphs, long readings or short readings with 40 questions. They will not have any titles. The paragraphs are numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, not the lines. There are spaces or gaps of 2 lines between each paragraph. There are bolded words in the text for you to answer questions, and each question should be answered in 1.5 minutes. Next, best exam advice for doing the reading comprehension. First, read all the questions before you answer. Then, find the keywords in the questions. Use those keywords to scan the reading text to find the answers. The answer for question 1 is usually in paragraph 1. The answer for question 2 is usually in paragraph 2. The answer for question 3 in paragraph 3, etc., etc., etc. You can find the answers to the questions sequentially, one after another in the text. If the answer is too difficult, if it's hard to find, just skip it. Continue scanning until you complete the questions. Then at the end, go back to the unanswered questions, read the text deeply to answer them. The questions are in sequential order to the other, and so this will guide your reading of the texts. The final question is usually a main idea question, and it tests your understanding of the reading of the passage as a whole. It usually asks you to choose the best title, the best main idea, or a conclusion. And of course, you show your answers indicating A, B, C, or D on the answer sheet. Leave the last question until the end. Finish all the earlier questions that you have not yet answered. As you finish the previous questions, it will give you a better idea or a good idea of what the reading passage is all about, after which you can answer it. Now try the reading comprehension test. 1. Words and their meanings. What does the word rough most closely mean in these sentences? To answer the questions, you should pause the video, then answer. Take your time and answer the questions. Number 1. 2. 3. Question type 2, reading to perform a task. According to the passage, which of the following steps should be completed first when setting up the device? Question type 3, demonstrating a general understanding. What is the main idea of the following paragraph? Question type 4, developing an interpretation. What can we infer about the author's opinion on exercise and mental health? Question type 5, examining content. What reasoning does the author provide for including exercise in mental health treatment? That is the end of the test. Now let's check your answers. Question 1. What does the word rough most closely mean in these sentences? Question 1. The technology based on the rough patterns on a shark's skin which allow the shark to swim faster. The answer is B. Uneven. 2. The golfer's ball landed in the rough, making it harder to hit accurately on the next stroke. The answer is D. Long grass. Question 3. The artist decided to rough out the design before adding finer details to the final piece. The answer is A. Sketch. Question type 2. According to the passage, which of the following steps should be completed first when setting up a device? Before turning on the device, ensure it is connected to a stable power source. Once connected, press the power button and then follow the on-screen setup instructions to select your language and region. The answer is B. Connect to a power source. Type 3 question. What is the main idea of the following paragraph? While exercise has numerous physical benefits, recent studies show it also significantly boosts mental health. Regular physical activity can reduce symptoms of depression and anxiety, improve mood, and increase cognitive function. The answer is C. Exercise enhances both physical and mental well-being. Question type 4. What can we infer about the author's opinion on exercise and mental health? Exercise not only strengthens the body but increasingly recognized as a powerful tool for mental wellness. Health experts now advocate for physical activity as part of treatment plans for those with anxiety and depression. The answer is C. The author values exercise as beneficial for mental health. Question type 5. What reasoning does the author provide for including exercise in mental health treatment? Studies show that regular physical activity increases levels of serotonin and endorphins, chemicals in the brain that help regulate mood. As a result, doctors now recommend exercise as a complementary treatment for those with mood disorders. The answer is A. Exercise releases mood-regulating chemicals in the brain. So, a quick reading test there. How did you do? Did you answer well? The quiz are the 5 areas or skill areas you need to develop in order to do the exam, the reading exam, successfully. Let's go into each one into a little bit more detail now. The first one is vocabulary or words, specifically words and the test of knowledge of their meaning of words. The exam tests how you understand how words fit into sentences in the passage, not only knowing the meaning of the words, but synonyms and antonyms, and also the context-specific meaning. Remember that words have multiple meanings, like in the test, the word rough has a number of meanings. For the word rough, I found it had 9 meanings in its adjectival form as an adjective, 4 meanings as a noun, 3 meanings as a verb, and 2 other meanings. 18 meanings and uses of the word rough. In paragraph 3 of our reading, we have the sentence, the technology is based on rough patterns of the shark's skin, which allow the shark to swim faster. Going back to our question, the technology is based on rough patterns on a shark's skin, which allow the shark to swim faster. What does the word rough most closely mean in these sentences? The question asks for a synonym, a word which has the same meaning. In the question, we're speaking about the shark's skin, the patterns on a shark's skin. The surface of the skin allow the shark to swim faster. So rough patterns here equates to, is the same as uneven, not smooth. And we can see this is an adjective because it comes before the noun patterns. Question number 2, the use of the word rough is a noun because we have the article the. The golfer's ball landed in the rough, making it harder to hit accurately on the next stroke. And if you know the meaning of the word rough in golf, the rough in golf is the area of grass off the playing area, off the green. So this is the grass which is cut, and this is the grass which is not cut, and this area is called rough or rough grass. Question 3, the artist decided to rough out the design before adding finer details to the final piece. Here we have to, which is the first of the infinitive, to rough out. So we know it's a verb. And to rough out means to sketch or to draft or to write very, very quickly. To make a rough drawing before we write or before we design the final piece. The word in our text, which we have a question, is an adjective, but there are also nouns and verbs using the same words, and our job is to practice vocabulary to know how a word is used, the synonym of those words, and definitions and meanings. The second question type or skill we need to develop for the reading comprehension is reading to perform a task. A task is a small job. In a question, it will be to find a date, find a name, identify a place. In our question in the quiz today was slightly complicated. It was to know the first step in a process. Let's look at the question again. According to the passage to the reading, which of the following steps should be completed first when setting up a device? So we are setting up a device. What is the first step? The reading goes before turning on the device. The device, ensure it is connected to a stable power source. The clue is here. Before we switch it on, you should connect to a stable power source. So the first action is this, and the second action is to turn on the device. So the answer here, the first thing we do is to connect the device to a power source, which is logical in any case. It's normal. Number 2, reading to perform a task. The third type of question or skill you need to develop for the reading comprehension, demonstrating a general understanding. This means that you read the text, you read the paragraph or the text, and you understand the central or the main idea, the main essence of what the author wishes to communicate. You identify the central theme. Read the first line, read the last line, read the supporting details, and identify what the central message is about. That needs practice. That needs a particular reading skill and a level of English that you should develop. The question in our quiz asks us to identify the main idea of the following passage. While exercise has numerous physical benefits, recent studies show it also significantly boosts mental health. Regular physical activity can reduce the symptoms of depression, anxiety, mood, and cognitive function. The point is made here. Exercise has body benefits for the body, but it also has benefits for the mind. And this is an example of that, how exercise improves you mentally. So the answer for this is C. Exercise enhances both physical and mental well-being. Number 3, demonstrating a general understanding of paragraphs and texts. The fourth question type or skill is developing an interpretation. In brackets here, you see developing an opinion or second guessing. An easy example would be from my tone of voice. If I say to you, yes, it was a great party, you will understand from my tone of voice that I was happy with it. If I say, yeah, it was great, you will understand from the same words but from my tone of voice that I was not happy with the party. Our job in this question is to second guess, is to understand what the writer means without him or her actually saying it. In the reading, we listen to the author's voice to second guess him or her. From the question, we can see what can we infer about the author's opinion on exercise and mental health. What can we guess or what can we read is the author's opinion. What does he think or what does he feel about exercise and mental health? Exercise not only strengthens the body, but is increasingly recognized as a powerful tool for mental wellness. Health experts now advocate for physical activity as part of treatment plans for those with anxiety and depression. The main idea of the text is the same as in question 3, where the writer believes that exercise is good for the body, it's good for the mind or for the mental processes, but he uses terms such as a powerful tool. Experts now advocate, they push for physical activity. So we have a general feeling, reading between the lines, we have a general feeling that the author, his opinion is that he values, that he highly rates exercise as a beneficial way to improve mental health. Question type number 4, developing an interpretation, an opinion, second guessing, developing a hunch, or reading between the lines in the text, looking for unstated information. Like skill number 4, question type number 5 or skill number 5, examining content, is high level. It requires that the student has a high level of English and understanding and can analyze texts, can see logic, arguments, knows the difference between facts and opinions. He can recognize any supportive arguments, any biases, or any persuasive techniques on the side of the author. As you analyze text, you see the connections, the cause and effect, any contrast, any comparisons that are used, and you can see the complexity of language as the ideas flow. Let's see an example of that in action in our quiz question, our area number 5. So question number 5 reads, what reasoning, why, does the author provide for exercise, including exercise in mental health treatment? So if you ask this very simply, it is, why does the author talk about exercise as important for mental health treatment? The paragraph reads, studies show that regular physical activity increases levels of serotonin and endorphins, chemicals in the brain that help regulate the mood. As a result, doctors now recommend exercise as a complementary treatment for those with mood disorders. The author agrees with the doctors say do exercise. It's a good way to treat any mood disorders you have. The reason is that science tells us regular exercise produces levels of serotonin and endorphins in the body, the feel-good factor. These are chemicals in the brain that help to regulate our moods, our feelings. So the reason for exercise to help mental health is that exercise produces mood-regulating chemicals in the brain. If we quickly look at the other distractors, exercise decreases brain chemicals, which is not true because it increases. Exercise only benefits physical health. Well, it doesn't say anything about physical health in this paragraph, only mental health. Exercise should replace traditional treatment methods. Actually, doctors say it should complement, to go together with traditional methods. Exercise and traditional methods should be used. So the only answer for this question is A, exercise releases mood-regulating chemicals in the brain. Question type 5 or skill 5, examining content, looking for arguments for evidence or persuasive language that helps us understand texts. So in summary, the key skills which are tested in the STEP Reading Comprehension are 5. Number 1, words and their meaning. You should know what words mean, the different uses of words, the synonyms of those words, and what those words mean in particular contexts. Number 2, reading to perform a task. It may be to identify a word, a fact, a date, or a number. 3, demonstrating a general understanding shows that you know what the main idea, the main thrust, the main opinion is, which runs throughout the text. 4 is developing an interpretation, that is what the writer means, what he says, or what she says, which is you can understand between the lines. And number 5 is an in-depth understanding of the logic, examining content, the logic and arguments and the facts or opinions, and the general structure and the way that texts flow. So those are the 5 skills we'll be practicing, that I will be testing and practicing on my courses at Britannia Academy. My name is Mohammed Francis. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.